You've said the word now thousands of times in your life. I'm leaving now. Do it now. Right now, this moment. Every time you meant something obvious. This instant, happening everywhere, shared by everyone. The present. The knife edge between past and future, where reality actually exists. But have you ever asked what now actually is? Have you ever wondered how your now relates to someone else's now? Not philosophically, physically, actually. Most people haven't. They just assume. They assume the universe runs on one giant clock and everyone, everywhere, experiences the same moment together. Hawking knew better. He knew that if you could travel fast enough, my right now would be your distant past or your far future. He knew that two people can disagree completely about what's happening now on a star 10 light years away, and neither one is wrong. The present moment isn't a feature of the universe. It's a feature of your speed, and once you understand why, you'll never think about time the same way again. Let me show you. The standard explanation of time goes something like this. Time flows forward, the past is gone, the future hasn't happened yet, and we all ride together on the present moment like passengers on a cosmic train. You learned this as a child. It feels obviously true. It matches every experience you've ever had. It's also incomplete, dangerously incomplete, because once you peek behind the curtain, once you see what Einstein discovered and Hawking spent his life exploring, you realize the present moment isn't a shared stage we all stand on together. It's more like a private room. Your private room. And here's what nobody tells you. The room someone else occupies might be in a completely different part of the timeline. What you call now and what they call now don't have to match. The universe doesn't require it. The universe doesn't even understand what you mean by simultaneous. There's something here that changes everything, something that connects the nature of time to the speed of light in ways that will fundamentally rewire how you understand reality. Let me start with something simple, something you can feel. Imagine you're on a train. The train is moving smoothly at constant speed. You're sitting in the middle car. You have two friends, one at the front of the train, one at the back, exactly the same distance from you in both directions. Now imagine you flash a light in both directions at the same instant, one pulse toward the front, one toward the back. From your perspective, sitting on the train, both pulses travel the same distance. They hit your friends at the same moment, simultaneously. Simple. But now imagine someone standing on the platform watching the train pass. What do they see? They see the train moving forward. The pulse heading toward the back of the train has less distance to cover because the back of the train is rushing toward it. The pulse heading toward the front has more distance to cover because the front of the train is racing away. Same light pulses, same speed of light, different distances, which means the platform observer sees the light hit your friend at the back first, then your friend at the front second. Stop and think about that. You say the lights arrived at the same time. The platform observer says they didn't. You're both watching the same events. You're both correct. This isn't about perception. This isn't about light taking time to reach your eyes. This is about reality itself. The events themselves have no absolute order. Here's what Hawking understood. Simultaneity, the idea that two things can happen at the same time, isn't a fact about the universe. It's a fact about your motion. Change your speed, and you change what now means. But wait, if that's true, if whether two events happen at the same time depends on how fast you're moving, then what happens when we're talking about events very far apart? What happens when we're talking about a star 100 light years away? The answer will break something in your brain. Here's the first revelation. When you say now, you mean a slice of the universe, a snapshot of everything happening at this instant, everywhere. You assume that slice is the same for everyone, that we're all cutting through time together at the same angle, sharing the same present. But Einstein proved otherwise, and the mathematics are inescapable. The faster you move relative to me, the more your slice of the universe tilts compared to mine. Your snapshot of now includes different events than my snapshot of now. At everyday speeds, walking, driving, even flying in an airplane, this tilt is imperceptibly small, billionths of a second. You'd never notice, but the effect is there. It's real. It's been measured. In 1971, physicists flew atomic clocks around the world on commercial airplanes. When they landed, the clocks had fallen behind stationary clocks by exactly the amount. Einstein predicted the moving clocks experienced less time. This isn't theory, this is measurement, and here's the thing that should start to bother you. GPS satellites have to correct for this effect constantly. If they didn't account for time dilation, if they assumed now was the same everywhere, your GPS would be off by miles within a day. Your phone knows that now is relative. The satellites do the math every millisecond, but that's still small speeds. What happens at cosmic speeds? Here's where it gets strange. Imagine an alien civilization in the Andromeda galaxy, about 2.5 million light years away, and imagine asking, what's happening there right now? You might think there's a definite answer. Something is happening on Andromeda right now, even if we can't see it yet. The light just hasn't reached us, but there's still a fact of the matter, a real now on Andromeda that corresponds to our now. Wrong. The physicist Roger Penrose illustrated this with a thought experiment. Imagine two people on Earth, one walking toward Andromeda, one walking away, just walking, normal human walking speed. Because of that tiny difference in velocity, their now slices through space-time tilt in opposite directions. And over a distance of 2.5 million light years, that tiny tilt adds up to something staggering. The person walking toward Andromeda has a now that includes events on Andromeda several days in what the other person would call the future. The person walking away has a now that includes events several days in what the other person would call the past. Same moment on Earth, same present, but their answers to what's happening right now on Andromeda differ by days. And neither is wrong. Let me say that again. Two people standing next to each other on Earth, one walking forward, one walking backward, disagree about what's happening now on a distant galaxy by days, and both of them are equally correct. There is no fact of the matter. There is no universal now to appeal to. The question, what's happening on Andromeda right now, doesn't have a single answer, but that still might feel abstract, far away. Galaxies and aliens and thought experiments. What does this mean for you, right here, right now? Now we're getting to the core. If simultaneity is relative, if different observers have different nows, and all of them are equally valid, then what does that say about time itself? Hawking thought carefully about this, and the conclusion is inescapable. If my now includes your future, and your now includes my past, then the past and future aren't fundamentally different from the present. They're not gone or not yet. They're just different locations in a four-dimensional structure. Physicists call this the block universe. Imagine all of time, past, present, future, laid out like a loaf of bread. Each slice is a moment. You're at one particular slice. You experience it as now, but the other slices don't stop existing just because you're not there. The dinosaurs aren't gone. They're just at a different slice. The year 3000 isn't not yet real. It's just at a slice you haven't reached. This should break your brain. Hawking put it plainly, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion, not a mistake, not ignorance, an illusion. A necessary one built into the structure of minds that experience time slice by slice, unable to see the whole loaf at once. Your now is real, but it's not special. It's not the only moment that exists. It's just the moment your consciousness currently occupies. And here's what that means for the present moment you're experiencing right this second. In your normal experience of the world, you share the present with everyone. When you call a friend across the ocean, you're talking now. When you watch a live broadcast, millions of people are watching now. When you think about the sun, you imagine it existing right now, the same moment you exist. Except that's completely false. The present moment you're experiencing right now doesn't exist for someone moving fast enough relative to you, and both of you are equally correct. Let me prove it. At the speed of light, time stops entirely. Photons, particles of light, do not experience time. From a photon's perspective, the moment it's emitted and the moment it's absorbed are the same moment. A photon from a star 10 billion light years away doesn't experience a 10 billion year journey. For it, departure and arrival are simultaneous. This isn't speculation. This is what the equations demand. This is what every experiment confirms. And as you approach that speed, without ever reaching it, your now tilts further and further relative to slower observers. Events in their far future become part of your present. Events in their distant past become simultaneous with your breakfast. Think about what this means. Every time you've said right now, you were You've said, right now, you were speaking a local language, parochial, provincial, true only from your frame of reference. Every appointment you've ever made assumed a shared present that physics says doesn't exist. Every plan for the future treated that future as not yet real, but for someone moving differently, that future is already part of their present. The present moment you're so certain of is the most personal thing you possess, more personal than your thoughts, more private than your dreams. It's your slice of reality, yours alone, and no one in the universe is guaranteed to share it. Hawking understood this wasn't lonely, it was liberating. The universe doesn't care about your schedule, it doesn't synchronize clocks, it doesn't share your now, and that's not a flaw in reality, that's not something we need to fix. That's the structure of space-time itself, elegant, mathematical, tested to 11 decimal places. The now you feel is real, but it's not universal. It's not shared. It's not a cosmic stage everyone stands on together. It's your private slice of eternity. And once you see this, you realize time isn't what you thought at all. It connects to everything. Here's what people miss when they learn just about the relativity of simultaneity. This isn't an isolated quirk. This connects to everything. The same principle that makes now relative also explains why nothing can travel faster than light. Because if it could, you could send messages to your own past and causality would collapse. Explains why GPS satellites need constant correction. They're moving relative to you, so their now drifts by microseconds every day. Explains why astronauts age slightly slower than people on Earth. They're moving faster, so they travel through time differently. Explains why time nearly stops at the edge of a black hole. Extreme gravity warps space-time so severely that your now barely creeps forward while eons pass outside. The same principle, the same physics, the same equation Einstein wrote down in 1905. What looks like separate phenomena, GPS errors, twin paradoxes, black hole time dilation, is actually one thing wearing different masks. The relativity of simultaneity, and you're not separate from this. Right now, as you sit still, you're moving through time at the speed of light. All your motion is temporal. The moment you start walking, you divert some of that motion into space, and your journey through time slows down by an imperceptible amount. You're always traveling at light speed. The only question is, what direction? The time you experience, the now that feels so solid, so universal, so obviously shared, is the result of your particular path through four-dimensional space-time, your world line, your trajectory. Someone on a different world line has a different now. Not a worse one, not a wrong one, just different. The same way two hikers on different paths have different views of the same mountain. That's not chaos, that's not relativism, that's geometry. The geometry of space-time itself, more precisely measured than any other structure in physics. And when you understand this, the universe doesn't become more confusing, it becomes more unified, more elegant, more comprehensible. Time isn't a river we all float down together. It's a dimension we each navigate alone, our paths crossing and diverging, our nows tilted relative to each other like shadows on a sundial. So when you say now after learning this, remember what you're actually saying. So, what is now? It's your slice. You're cut through the four-dimensional block of space-time. The angle of that slice depends on your velocity. Change how you move, and you change what now contains. The present moment isn't a universal fact. It's a local experience. But understanding this isn't just about physics. It's about what we can know, what reality even is. How staggeringly successful the human mind has been at uncovering truths that violate every intuition evolution gave us. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans assumed the present was shared. Every language encodes it, every plan assumes it, every culture built on it. Then, in 1905, a patent clerk in Switzerland looked at equations describing light and realized our deepest intuition about time was wrong, not just incomplete, wrong, and everything changed. We rewrote physics. We rebuilt our picture of the universe. We launched satellites that correct for relativity 60 times per second, so you can find the nearest coffee shop. The fact that we can understand this, that minds evolved for hunting and gathering can grasp the geometry of space-time. Hawking found this astonishing. Not the strangeness of relativity, the comprehensibility, The universe didn't have to make sense. It doesn't owe us answers in languages we can speak. And yet, when we ask precise questions, we get precise answers. The equations work, the predictions match, the GPS locks on. That's not trivial, that's not obvious. That's the greatest achievement of the human intellect, forcing the universe to confess its secrets in mathematics we invented only yesterday. Your now is yours alone. The cosmos doesn't share it, but the cosmos is comprehensible. And you, yes, you can understand how it actually works. That's what now really is, not a universal tick of a cosmic clock, not a shared stage we all stand on together, a local personal slice of a four-dimensional block that contains all moments equally, not comfort, not simplicity, truth. If this journey into the nature of time changed how you think about the present moment, subscribe and share it with someone who still assumes we all share the same now. What other everyday experiences do you think hide this kind of depth? What else have you said 1,000 times without ever really asking what it means? Tell me in the comments.